Hey everyone, welcome back today. Just like previously, we're going to be doing a little bit of an overview. Um, After my changes made earlier this week, I was very not happy with them. So I think I'm going to try one last pivot here before San Antonio Regionals this weekend. I will say what I was happy with was actually the performance of the Shadow stuff. I won a couple matches just because of Winda. It's just such an impressive card to make your opponent beat over. But I'm gonna try and extend that a little further, even, and we'll be talking about that a little bit today. So I guess first thing I want to address is what's going to be cut. So I believe last week I was running Nibiru main deck and Chaos Hunter extra deck. Um, these cards are just kind of dead for Kashtira. Even though Chaos Hunter is level 7, um, you don't want a Chaos Hunter before you get a monster on the field because having a monster on the field kind of prevents your ability to uh, use the innate effects of all the Kashtira to special summon themselves while you control no monsters. So it's a little awkward. And for the same reason, I don't think Nibiru synergizes well enough with Kashtira for the exact same reason. It's like, sure, you stopped your opponent's play, but I'm almost instantly having to give up my battle phase to like either crash or get rid of my own token somehow or my own monster somehow so I can go into an actual play. Um, I was thinking about maybe holding on to the Chaos Hunters just as a going first option, where it's like I would like to have the Chaos Hunter in the on the board in a like instead of a reactionary Lancia. But I just don't think it really makes sense at this point. So, and since I am playing Lancia, I don't think I really need both. And just based on like the results of like a lot of major or other tournaments recently, it seems like a lot of people are running one or the other, and both seems a little excessive at this time. Um, Anyways, let's get into it. We can start to glaze over some of the shorter things that just aren't really changing. So, shorter things that aren't changing: triple Fenrir, triple Unicorn, Rise Heart, Scareclaw, Ogre, just the standard 9 that I've been running. I like it because it gives room for siding while increasing the baseline number of Kashtira monsters that I'm running main deck. Because I want like a certain saturation of the Kashtira monsters, and it gives me enough like flexibility to uh, really like punish my enemy or opponent if I'm going like first versus second. Scareclaw is actually surprisingly good at board breaking just because of his effect to start to negate. It's like if you get him and Fenrir on the board and then just pivot straight into battle phase, it's actually pretty impressive because they can clear 2 on their own, plus they negate effects, and Fenrir can banish a third card on the field. So between those 3 cards, you're actually able to have like pretty high impact instant transmissions on battle phase if you are against like a pretty tough board. Um, Otherwise, Ogre's good at like the mid range like control style because you're getting to mill through your opponent's next cards and really dictate what they're going to get to hand. And then Rise Hard is good just as an extension option for going first. Just as he is normally. So for that reason, that's why I like it. If I end up going second after the first game, usually the first ones to go are Ogre, just because I think he's better going first because you get to set the trap, you get to search and set the trap, and then have the trap trigger on your opponent's turn to get an extra body on the field. Plus, if they do something like a imperm straight from hand, a dominant straight from hand, uh, you get to punish that with a hand rip on top of it. So that's why I like Ogre in there. And even when going second in game one, it's not that bad. He still has the effect to search one or to special summon himself innately and then search one from deck. Then standard, the 3 spells and traps, 1 Theosis, 1 Birth, 1 Preparations. I'm still a fan of the Birth, or I'm still a fan of the Theosis because I am running an extended Kashtira package. And then Scareclaw Banishing Birth or Rise Heart Banishing Birth. Or sorry, I keep saying Birth, but Scareclaw or Rise Heart Banishing Theosis lets me cycle a monster back to my hand, which is also a pretty good extension, which isn't always available. Then finally, the 3 pressured planets. I don't think that requires any further explanation. Then this is what I was. Then this week I was running, I believe, double Ecclesia, double Maximus for my Dogmatica engine. But I think I'm gonna put that back to 2-1-1. I was just drawing into too many Maximus, and it felt terrible to draw into a Maximus without being able to set my graveyard with an extra deck monster, because you have to have one in there for Maximus to be able to special summon himself and then banish 2 more. And that's where I'm going to be going into like changes here in a bit. But I reduced the Dogmatica package a bit. It's a little tighter now, a little less bloat. As we were kind of talking about last week, just less tutors. It's like I don't really want to see Ecclesia raw. It's not terrible. It's like a good extension at the end of a turn. But if I'm not able to set my grave with an extra deck monster, I can't do Ecclesia into Maximus. So it's like I'd rather see Nadir Servants, and then otherwise I'll just search out the Fleur de Lis to interrupt during my opponent's turn. So we're cutting this one. I already took out the other Maximus because it put me over 40. And anyways, then the Singular Schism. This I'm leaving in because the Windalock was actually surprisingly really strong. It really improved my end board potential very significantly over what it was last week, or at the locals. If I'm able to get a turn 1 where I'm not getting nibbed and I extend into like a full board plus a Masquerena plus a Shadow Schism set, it's just over. It's just like they get 1 special summon during their turn if they don't have like an in-hand negation for Winda. And basically it's like start a main phase, you chain Schism to their first activated effect, summon out Winda. On resolution, their special summon goes off. That's their only one for the turn. And then they either have to beat over Winda, and even if they can, you just go straight into Little Knight off the Masquerena, removing their only special summon monster, which is usually the only one strong enough to beat over Winda. So that feels really good. Then maintaining the triple Fua, triple Droll, and triple Ash. As I was saying earlier, I really didn't like the Nib. I didn't really like the Chaos Hunters. They didn't feel very good. They felt anti-synergistic with what my strategy is trying to do. So I kind of trimmed it down to only 9 monster hand traps, and instead I'm pivoting more towards like board breaker and playthrough as a going second player. So going into that, taking the cross out, I think that's pretty good against the Drolls, especially right now. If I open cross out, I know that I can play like an absolute dork, just because I can start to tutor everything off and know that I'm not going to get drolled. Same with Called By, also a really solid option. Then the one of Triple Talents, same reason. And then I do not have them right now, but the big change, I'm actually going to go pick them up here in a bit. But the big change that I'm making is I'm actually going to be going back to the pots. After some internal debate, I was really unhappy with the consistency of the deck without the pot of prosperity and the 2 pots of extravagance. Running the 3 gives a very solid chance of drawing into. Sorry, I'm trying to find my cards. Running the 2 extravagances and where are you? Super poly, pot of extravagance. It's just a solid way just to get cards in the hand because I wasn't losing this week on Wednesday because I'm trying to think. It's like I was losing because of bad hands, not because of any other specific item. I feel like so I feel like bringing the pot of extravagances back in is not bad. I need sleeves. Sorry. So bringing the pot of desires and extravagances back in is not bad, and they should help increase consistency for me. So definitely regret a little bit because I feel like I went a little too far with like removing tutors and not leaving any for the main deck. It's like if I'm gonna get a tutor, I might as well go +2, right? These are also just really good ash bait if you just like open your turn with them. Unfortunately, they're also drollable, which is like kind of why I was a little scared of running them. But droll does not necessarily feel as glued to people's hands as maybe I thought it was. And I'm usually opening not at the same rate, but I'm opening the cross out designators and called by the graves at a rate that's high enough that I don't think running these is a problem against them. And then the last 2 cards, because I believe this is 38 cards right now. The last 2 cards I'm going to be introducing are Ultimate Slayers. So I was kind of talking about how Nib felt bad as a board breaker, as well as and how Chaos Hunter felt bad as a floodgate. So I think I'm going to try the Ultimate Slayers, and also give me an alternative way to kind of prep my graveyard with a extra deck body. Since I'm already running the Dogmatica package, I'm already running so many cards in the extra deck that benefit from being sent. I'm gonna have to switch up the extra deck a tiny bit, and I'll show you that here in a second. But I think baseline, that's a pretty good start. So I'm excited to kind of like see how those play out. I think those will feel more consistent than what's been going on with it. And then I was also testing out these as board breakers main deck. The problem is just Lightning Storm is just dead going first. So I think while they are good cards, I do not think I'm going to be main decking any of them, and that this will be a side deck option against like strategies that maybe set up more of a back row spell and traps between after their turn 1. So like Malice is even like an example. It's like they set their multiple traps at the end of turn 1, and then they use them as a way to like get their Malice cards in the grave to get their in-grave effects. So if I was able to force them to either chain or lose them at the start of main 1, that might be better than that might be better as a board breaking option than a nib, because nib just feels bad right now too. It's like the only time I got to nib this last week was against a Mitsuguri player, and that just felt fucking terrible. So extra deck is going to be, or side deck is going to be the triple duster, well, duster and double lightning storm. We're still keeping the 3 evenly matched. I don't think very many decks are running anything to get past this right now. If you open it, like that's kind of GG. I actually won like 2 games on Wednesday off of this card alone. And then Lancia, a really good option. I think it feels better and synergizes better with this deck than uh, the Chaos Hunter, which is why Chaos Hunter got cut. And then hopefully 3 Massive Restricts. I'm missing my third one still because I had 2 from the last time I was playing because Domain Monarchs was really strong. So I ordered a third, but I have not seen it yet. But very basic Floodgate against the Mitsuguri strategy. Some people are like, it doesn't really do much against the Rizal though. But it's like if you're cutting off half of somebody's strategy and they're being forced to instant transmission their main strategy to try and either play through and pop the Mask of Restrict. I think that's good enough. And there's also enough pure Mitsuguri players at this point that I don't think it's bad to be running it. I'm just going to put these over here because I need to return them to a friend that was letting me borrow them. But as I was saying, Nib, cut, Chaos Hunter, cut, feel fucking terrible. They're going back in the binder for the time being. Maybe if I played a different strategy, they would feel better. But it just does not feel good at all with the Kashtira cards. Then finally, going back to extra deck, we're doing the IP and Little Knight. Very basic combo package. Also giving me some link monsters for what's soon to be the Ultimate Slayer. This is where I'm really trimming the first one. I'm going from 4 Shadow cards to just 2. So before I was running the Construct, I was running the Apcolone, I think is how it's pronounced, and then the 2 windows. I think I'm gonna cut 1 window and the Construct and just run 1/1. I don't think it'll come up too often where I'm gonna need to be summoning Construct. It's not as good of a card, honestly, as Winda. And I don't know how many times I would summon more than 1 Winda per game. It's like if you're outing Winda, it's probably you've probably like I think I've already gone positive in the card advantage. Then standard Garuras to draw 1, Natissus to pop 1. Nothing to really say there. Then I'm maintaining my XYZ package about the same. The Draco Sack for the tokens to let me extend into Masquerina, Little Knight. Big Eye to deal with larger monsters that I maybe not be able to beat over. Flare to put some burn pressure on. Shangri Era just because Shangri, like I'm playing Kashtira and I have the field spell. And then a singular Typhon. The spaces I'm planning on filling with the cards that got cut are actually going to be 2 Synchro monsters. I'm going to be bringing in either... I'm thinking Wind Pegasus at Ignister would be a fun one. Just because it's a little different than... what's the other one? It's like... I don't remember the name off the top of my head. It has a similar effect where it sends a card back to hand on resolution instead of to deck. But I don't think the speed of the Malong... Yeah, it's the Malong, right? They send Golden Cloud Beast Malong because it sends 1 to the hand, which is like okay, and it's only at the end of the chain, right? So I don't think the speed of that really matters. I would rather spin 1 back to deck using Wind Pegasus. And then the second option is Psy Frame Lord Omega. And that one is to spin one back from grave to deck. And then I can either use that to refuel my own deck, or I can hit cards that my opponent has intentionally milled out to send back to their deck. Which I think not bad. I think it's a good option. So those are the two cards I'm planning on getting today, on top of the Ultimate Slayers. And then for the last few spots in the side deck, I was thinking of putting the third Ultimate Slayer in there as along with the Tri Brigade Arms uh, Becaphalis, and then one Mirological Aggregator. Basically, the thought there is like, if I am going first or if I am going second, Schism is dead, right? It's like I don't need Schism. Schism's like a first turn floodgate. It's not a second turn board break. So Schism's getting cut, and then if Schism's getting cut, I'm cutting the last two Shadow cards that I'm running, so that in favor of more Ultimate Slayer Dogmatica targets. Yeah, and that's basically like the last of the thought process. So hopefully, I guess I'm solving a few things here, right? It's like hopefully I'm solving the consistency issues by reintroducing my pots, um, addressing the oversaturation of shadow cards in my extra deck, because there's so many times where I actually wasn't even able to go into the shadow cards just because I was being like mid-range kept for so long. It was just impossible for me to actually get to them. So they felt kind of dead, and like I should have maybe dedicated less space to them, just period. So now that we've dedicated less space to them, hopefully this will kind of ramp up. And then replacing those with the Psy Frame Lord and the Wind Pegasus will be a good answer to. Well, I guess I just wanted to introduce some synchro options for Ulti Slayer targets. In addition to them just being good general Dogmatica targets, I think just give me a little more versatility. Because right now it was basically search schism, pop a card with Natis, draw one with Garura, and that was basically like all my options. But now I have the option to spin one back from the grave and spin one back from the field as well, which I think is going to be uh, a lot more valuable in terms of card advantage. And then extending uh, the Tri Brigade side in will give me an option to spin back Link monsters while also extending into either sending. Well, I guess the only target would be Garura because he lets me send a Winged Beast monster after he's sent. So it's like you send that one, spin it back, send Garura, draw one. So that seems like a pretty solid extension option as well. But that's all I got for today. Hopefully, I'll be able to get my hands on those Ultimate Slayers. I'm gonna go swing by the shop here, I think, in a bit to go see if I can go get them, and then I might come back and actually just film a little bit of just putting them in. But until then, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave any comments, questions, and hope to see you next time. Thank you.